Hello everyone. Today I'm going to start a new topic, and the topic for my today's lecture is values and principles in social policies. We all know that values and principles is shape the larger framework of policy making system. When you are creating policies, when we are formulating policies, these values and principles, they give an insight into what are the core aspect of understanding. So when we say that social policies which are in India, which are strategic measures which has been adopted by the government to improve the welfare of the citizen and addressing social challenges. So the role of values and principles in the policy making system influences it influences the core of the core objective or aim of any particular policy, be it health, education, and which looks into these aspects like equality, justice, solidarity, which particularly guides the allocation of resources and at the same time addressing social issues. So the role of values become of paramount importance, because it talks about that how this institutions or the government or the bureaucratic system or the individuals who are involved in the policy making system, they adhere to certain guiding principles, certain aspect, certain certain important areas of justice, equality, and equity. Now, why value matters in social policies? If we say that why value matters, they social policies which is being guided by a set of values principles, it shapes its objectives, design, and implementation. So during from the very beginning of setting an agenda, from designing and setting up the objectives, from formulating till the implementation and monitoring, these values and principles, they reflect the broader goals of promoting social well-being, equity and justice, equality within the society, and implementation of these in a very smooth and coordinated manner. The values guide the formulation and implementation of policies in diverse areas such as education, health, and poverty alleviation. In fact, the collective, these values and principles, they serve as collective values and guiding principles for bringing about a harmonious working together of social life and state intervention. So there is a collective, when we talk about values and principles, they serve as a collective forum which looks into the harmonious relationship of social life and state intervention when social policy is applied at the macro level. So the effectiveness of each decision to intervene and the accomplishment of its object is highly dependent on its ideological background, which exists in relation to the current social values. So the existence of social equality and justice, the reduction of social problems, as well as the reallocations of goods and services, presupposes the smooth operation of the value system and the preservation of its fidelity. So the value system, it encompasses the local government and normative regulatory conformity as a foundation of the systematic operations of society's subsystems, in order to in order in order to bring about, or rather in regard to the value system such as the solidarity, subsidiarity, personal responsibility, and which lays or which constitute the foundation of human behavior. So there are various policies, if you look into that, how these values or principles matter. So it brings about the policies which are aimed at reducing income disparities or any kind of disparities among the social groups. If you talk about justice, reforms are being made in legal and social system to ensure fair treatment, to ensure fairness and equity amongst the population. Principles and values, if you look at the relationship between principles and value, is very close and interrelated. It may be described as a reciprocal relationship, since social relationships, they constitute expressions of the good from an ethical, spiritual, or material perspectives, which the authorities intend to pursue, so by projecting them as reference points for the appropriate construction and orderly administration of social life. However, values also demand the practice of fundamental principles of social life and personal ethical behavior that correspond to the same values. Understanding principles. Now, if you talk about the definition or how I would like to give a clarity in terms of understanding the context of principles, understanding principles in the context of social policy. So, a principle may be defined as a basic rule which sets the groundwork, regulates personal as well as social behavior, and is commonly acceptable. The shaping of social policy is closely related to the overall principles, namely any valuable good, mainly spiritual, that functions as a guiding factor in the life of a person or is recognized as such by social group. Depending on this, on the orientation as expressions of the whole, they form the basis of political ideologies, which different with different and often contrasting approaches, and with a significant effect on the managerial and administrative functions of each country's system. So, when we say that, this is because according to their etymological meaning, principles are the operational projections and points of reference of the social system. Principles are the operational projections and points of reference of the social systems which governs its operations, and consequently that all that of its part as well as including social policy. So, furthermore, principle functions as models when deciding the type of intervention in social policy, that is welfare insurance or security. Its model, whether residual or institutional or redistributive, the intervention method in cooperation with all institutions, agencies and mechanisms whose main goal is to redistribute goods and services. So, depending on the orientation, as I mentioned earlier, so the neoliberal ideology adheres as much as possible to the unimpeded operation of the free market economy. So, the principle of individualism and competition prevail, thereby defining the way the residual model would works. So, in contrast, the ideological approach of the institution redistributed model aims for broader coverage of citizen needs and widespread state intervention by putting forward social welfare and subsidiarity for social cohesion as principle of its operation. So, on the basis of sometimes the models, the state intervention would decide how these are going to put up. Irrespective of the ideological operation of each intervention policy and its synergy with the economic model, the basic social principles endure through time. In fact, it is anticipated that their implementation will eradicate all prejudices, establish full equity between two genders, eradicate extremes in poverty and affluence, eradicate extremes in poverty and affluence, provide universal education, promote high level health and welfare, and promote a viable balance between nature and technology. So, when one considers how aptly those principles are applied in social actions and concerns problems that disconcert people in every era, from gender relationships to social justice, and which give rise to the most dynamic movements of the 20th century, their importance even in the intervention method through the implementation of social policy becomes self-evident. If you talk about values, values are defined as beliefs which incorporate clear or implicit conceptions of the desirable, that is, the deeper desires of a society, determine the choice of means and model of action, and play a central role in the belief system of individuals as well as groups. So, indeed, it is everything that individuals or the society recognizes as beneficial, good from an ethical, spiritual or material perspective, which is used as a rule of thumb for actions or becomes the object of a person's pursuits. So values serve as a beacon or guidelines for us as well as for others, and for the selection of ideal behaviors in life, incorporating a tint of should or ought. All human societies, they have created values because that is how they regulate the attitudes and behavior of people and constitute a necessity of how they think and act both individually and collectively. So since they have a functional a connection to the structure and operation of social systems as well as life attitudes, they are related to more general social issues such as belief in a fair world, altruism, as well as a decision pertaining to the development of social interventions through social planning and social policy. Furthermore, each society has its own value system, which is shaped and passed on through formal and informal processes of social learning and is related to traditions, customs, way of communication, introvert or extrovert behavior, meritocracy, transparency, etc., and so on. Because of the existence of such differentiations, the values of each societies are also rated differently. Therefore, some values are of the upper, tiers of the hierarchy, and the others are not. For example, material values, are become more suitable to certain social policy models and their implementation, as in the case of the prioritization of material values in the residual model. When we discuss about the models, then there would be a much more clarity where when we will be talking about residual welfare model or achievement performance model or institutional redistributive model. So in contrast, we can say that countries and societies, they are oriented towards spiritual values, or they would have a greater degree of justice in the allocation of available resources. They tend towards variations of the institutional model of social policy. So this is a brief understanding about what are the values and what are the how would you understand values and principles in the context of social policy. If we look into the principles and values, they are the basic elements of social policy. And first is there are certain principles: solidarity, subsidiarity, personal responsibility, regulatory conformity, equity and fairness, transparency, universalism. There are n number. As we proceed towards the lecture, you'll get to know about these values and principles. First, I would like to talk about solidarity. If you talk about solidarity, the most widespread, or rather the most simple definition of the principle of solidarity is the one that describes the implementation process of solidarity as one for all and all for one. It implies there is a mutual cohesiveness among people, but it also among social groups, whether it's family, unity and community, in the sense of mutual moral responsibility and dealing with life incidents. So the principle of solidarity in social policy is practically stating the need for the existence of assistance, support in different levels, from one side at the planning and decision making levels, and from the other side at the functional and system efficiency levels. In fact, solidarity means an obligation to provide someone help in order to promote a common goal. Secondly, which is based on the recognition of equality among the parties involved without any financial or other asymmetry. And finally, the mutuality of obligations. So what it means is that there is a common interest which exists as expressions of common feeling of belongingness to the same society, but also as a product of conforming to the same needs. It should be regulated on the basis of mutuality for covering the needs of society as a whole. Therefore, the subjects and the systems, they ought to be based on the principle of mutual interaction in order to attain their objective goals. So characteristics example of the application of the principle of solidarity in social policy are the national insurance and welfare systems of countries, which are structured on systems of transgenerational reciprocity. So in those cases, there is individual contributions are being made to the appropriate agencies, based on the principle of collective solidarity, whereby individual contributions may vary depending upon the income level. However, the benefits provided by the state, especially those related to non-income criteria, are the same, so that despite the contribution levels, social reallocation can occur towards those in greater need, and also in its majority from those younger in age towards those who are older. So indeed, the way in which those systems operate should be such that the long-term availability is ensured, thereby maintaining the relationship of solidarity or informal contract of reciprocity between generations. Secondly, subsidiarity. The second principle is about subsidiarity. uh, Subsidiarity, the word subsidiarity means to assist, support someone in state of need who requires help. It describes a fundamental operational principle of society in regard to self-determination, taking responsibility and developing personal skills by each individual's member in the day-to-day, but also long-term effort to develop one's life. According to the principle of subsidiarity, no one should be deprived of the opportunity to take initiatives, to try and use his powers to achieve things by ceding the responsibility of such task in the society, as it would conflict with the sense of justice and equal participation. So instead of institutional mechanisms of society should intervene only in cases where the capabilities of individual or small group community are not sufficient to see and cover their existing needs on their own. It is only then that the institutional intervention of society's instruments acquires real meaning and becomes subsidiarity in practice. So this is so because each overarching local or state authority should respect and allow the use of resources available to the underlying groupings without inhibiting the ability to develop, utilize resources they possess or drain them. So according to Brooke, there is an explanation of how the principle of subsidiarity is applied, means that an hierarchy is followed by participants in social activities, where the expectations of help should follow from a certain order. Self-help ranks first in preference, whereby each person using the powers within his own capacity, first which is available to him, tries to address his needs. So it is the individual comes first. So in the subsidiarity part of it becomes important that the individual need to first look into his own capabilities in his own resources. He should first try to help himself, whatever power, whatever capabilities he has to first try to overcome those issues of his own to address the needs. And if for any reason this could not be achieved, those efforts should be supplemented by the support from the immediate social web. So if suppose he failed to address the needs which are of utmost importance, then he would look out for support which would be supplemented from other resources, such as and from the immediate social web, that is the informal care networks such as family, friends, neighbors, which should be very active and available. And if those help structures fail, even when the family, friends, neighborhood does not come for help, and then the need remains, then higher mechanism such as local government services. Subsidiarity clearly says that first it is the individual who should look into his needs, address his needs personally on a personal level, using his own capacity, his intellect, his capabilities, all his powers. When that succeeds, when that seeds, then when that is when those resources, when those resources are are exhausted, then the relief should come from the immediate social wealth, that is the family, the friends, the neighbors. And if that also fails to provide those resources to the individual, or fails to provide any kind of support, then the third party would be the government. They should come, and the local government services, they should assist, and followed by state services, in order to avoid any misunderstandings in regard to the principle of subsidiarity. So Brooke further explains that subsidiarity does not guarantee in advance the provision of help by higher tiers, but only when the individuals he used up his own resources. So third parties have available resources as well as certain conditions are fulfilled. In this principle of subsidiarity, it should be noted that the individual perspective of responsibility and the social perspective of the development of material prerequisites for independent actions, which already coexist in the principle of subsidiarity, are indeed discrete in the order they are used. Yet they cannot be dissociated or as totally independent. So in practice, and depending on the model of social policy applies, its elements are related more to either the neoliberal model or the welfare state. In the case of neoliberal model, the individual should assume as much responsibility as possible using his own means, and adjust and adapt his behavior accordingly as the various needs would constitute economic goods. The individual alone has the autonomous role to secure them, and based on the terms of the market economy, it is expected that the behavior of the individual should be more oriented towards prevention in order to achieve greater use of own resources, which are located in the lowest tiers of social structure. So consequently, this requires less participation of the overarching mechanisms and resources of the state, thus resulting in lower state intervention. When the institutional redistributive model is applied, and a national redistribution system of benefits is also in place, even though the state is obligated to provide the appropriate services, the level of help may differ according to the resources available. This is where the significance of the individual's participation is pinpointed, who, despite being the recipients of the state service, is in no way responsibility free. So this is so because even in the context of the institutional model, subsidiarity becomes available by utilizing the entirety of resources, so both state and private. Hence, the ability to offer help depends to a greater extent on the co-responsibility shown by each person while using the resources available, but also on the extent of his ability to recognize that they are finite and should be used rationally. So, overall importance and the objective of the principle of subsidiarity is to secure a certain degree of independence for an authority lower in the hierarchy against one that is higher. Therefore, it concerns the allocation of competencies among the various authority levels, a principle which constitutes the basis of state with federal structure. In sectors that do not fall under the exclusive jurisdiction of any such political authority, the principle of subsidiarity aims to defend the ability of a member state to make decisions and act and provide legitimacy to the interventions of the union if the objective of an action cannot be sufficiently achieved by the member state. So, but it may be better that it better achieved at the through the efforts made by the state. This was the principle of subsidiarity. Now we'll talk about the principle of moral personal responsibility. Now the concept of responsibility means the obligation of a person to complete a task and be held liable or accountable for it, bearing the consequences of the poor management of the task or for breaching a moral obligation. So the principle personal responsibility rests on the individual. It talks about the accountability, and it talks about the taking responsibility for any task. Each person has a right to freely develop his personal skills, but at the same time he is responsible as well as liable for each of his actions with the context of social normality. So this is because social coexistence becomes possible through personal but also collective responsibility comes together. So based on the theory of individualism states that apply neoliberal model forms of social policy transfer a significant part of the responsibility to each individuals and their behavior. That is because the action decisions of people are mostly perceived, measured in regard to their outcome as economic figures, just like everything else, where each person separately has an autonomous role and is liable for his potential success or failure. So no system can function on its own, just as no society can rely on individual actions alone. People participate in actions collectively to produce results, have ambitions and desire for progress and development. There are people who bear personal responsibility for their actions, the manner of participation, but also for their results. So the role of social policy is to create the conditions under which each person can develop his potential to grow, but also be able to help himself when needed. So therefore state intervention should not inhibit person liberty, but should allow people to take initiatives and be responsible for their outcomes. Taking personal responsibility presupposes that each person at his own initiative should be able to want to take action, that is act in an objective or subjective manner, and be able to do so. So within the context of models that provide comprehensive services outside the market framework and on a need basis, social policy is perceived as a major social institutions which is based on the collective management of responsibilities, where the outcome concerns all and depends to a significant extent on collective actions. As such, those models are partly based on theories relating to the multiple effects of social change through solidarity actions and synergy with the economic system, and partly on the principle of social equality. So personal responsibility, it is a mix of pluralistic models, is delimited by the relationship of three important social institutions: the state, the market, and the family. And according to this approach, social policy places more emphasis on the interplay of the state, the market, and the family, and tries to utilize the already existing relationship between the private sector and the households, while at the same time reducing the extent of the state benefits. So the outcome of this partnership is the formation of public space for the expression of personal but also collective responsibilities, consisting of non-governmental and voluntary organizations, citizen initiative groups, and social movements. What is important is in this formation is that any change in the relationship between any of the participants influences the entire mix, and at the same time is affected by changes in the degree of responsibility assumed. That is all about today's lecture. In my next class, I will continue with values and principles. Thank you, everyone.